Hey, what's up, everybody? Tuning in, for an update on the accounts. I already did it on my Roth. So my goal, kind of just jumping into things, is reducing exposure. I think one of the key lessons I learned from February was that I'm going to focus more on quality. Excuse me, quality entries and exits versus momentum breakouts. And right now, I'm going through, cleaning up the portfolio, and I was like, why not, just film this? Uh, so when looking at things, I already done these ones, kind of give an idea with Amazon. Came up, I'll take this off. So yeah, we came up, we took the buy side on this side here, dropped down, and then massive dump through here. That's making the market structure shift. And then we pulled back up into the weekly SIBI and going further down on the hood. So yeah, this is going to be incorrect. Now, um, we see like we hit a couple times last week, but staying below moving averages, however you want to look at it. So bearish on that one. Then with Boeing, so we'll just clean this up. So look at Boeing on the weekly. So gap to gap. There's a gap, but most importantly, this gap. All right. So we hit this gap here on this pullback. You have an order block right here, but essentially what we're looking at is you took sell side over here, rallied up, market structure shift here, pulls back here, looking for this to go up. So now this is on the weekly. Then when we look at the daily, similar kind of situation, but as you can see, pulled back into this area of interest, this gap here. And so now entered calls on this. We took the sell side inside the gap, looking to see if we can push up on this. And then, I'm starting to look under the hood more. As you can see, we pushed down, wicked, rallied, came back. It's the hour. And then looking at the 15, yeah, sitting right here in this gap. Highlight this real quick. Yeah, kind of right at the bottom of that one. So overall, I like this entry better just because looking at the higher time frames, uh, we're sitting we're sitting nice here, and so I need to add this to this account. So I'm looking at monthlies. I like I specified in my trading plan, like 20 to 50 days out. So March is no longer consideration. Could go into the weeklies, but I'm just going to focus on the monthlies, kind of see how this plays out for me. So what we're looking at now, risk of 600. This is the only one meets that criteria, as opposed to buying two. So we're just going to fire this one off. And for this, honestly, going to focus on low hanging fruit. Uh, Kind of get a little bit more momentum back into this account. Got stopped out of a lot of trades last month. I feel like I might have developed some poor habits that I would like to not um, carry forward. So, with that in mind, going to be looking at, um, we'll start with just, low hanging fruit. So, first target to the upside, going to be 236. Just want to, get there. And that'll be, trade terminus for this. So that's Boeing. Let's see. Google. Now, this one I was a little conflicted on. I've been back and forth with this one, but you know what? We're just going to pick a side, go with it. Relative equal lows right here, which means good place to grab some liquidity, maybe before it goes back up, all-time highs. So what I'm seeing on this one, ran the buy side, make the all-time highs. Then we dropped. Didn't really, never really returned to a gap, which, happens sometimes. So you'd have this one up here. This would have been the ideal entry had it came back here, but no luck on that. So now it continues lower. Of course, we'll have to, jump in, see where this is. Time frames below. Also need to start doing this. Like if I'm thinking like, oh, this is gonna break down, if I see it run, buy side right here, probably could drop down to the hour. Let's see. Could we have found a trade here? So we had earnings right here. And let's say we were taking this trade. Hindsight's always 2020, but this is how practice. So drop throughout the day, hit earnings, went right here into this gap. Granted, wicked outside of it, but the body stayed within this gap and then heads lower. And so we head into the next day post earnings, drops. We have a gap here, but I guess could have after hours. See, and this would have been one of those things where what is this? It's 3:00. Yeah, so possibly what day is this? On the 5th, Thursday, the February 5th. Oh no, because that formed the gap. So no, that would have been that's not valid. So let me not even continue with that. But no, popped into there, and then as you can see, up what we have here, another gap. So if we're kind of exploring that idea of prices heading lower, and this would have been a good area to enter. Of course, have like this little wick right here, but as you can see from higher time frame analysis, even with that on Friday, yeah, you see down day and just continue to drop. So now, since we do have the continuation lower, going to look to see this deliver to the relative equal lows here. So have puts on that. Honeywell, I know I spoke about this one last week, and I took my trade off because I was being too indecisive. I had my stop down here. I was like, no, I'm trying to, minimize my positions, blah, 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 blah. And then today, what does it do? Right here is at 242. Boom. Shoots up 247. What is this? Yeah, 247.93. So silly me on that one, but this one's just about holding the trade. Honeywell, very, very bullish. If there was a pullback, I would see it, come back to this area here. And then we rally. But for now, just made a new all-time high. And this is what? This the 1 week. Just made a new all-time high. So I entered in on this. Not my ideal entry, But as you can see, had a small pullback, used environment balance here. Yeah, just recently, and now I'm kind of pushing out of that. And if we go even further down to the 15, which is where I'm going to start doing a lot more of my executions on. Yeah, you see we rallied up right there. And I entered this trade 12.20. So if we look at 12.20, yeah. So little high, didn't wait for the pullback. That's on me. And this is where, had I waited for, this pullback on the 15, much better entry, for sure. But this one bought time, so gonna let this one play out. PG, we were already in. Wrap up with Tesla. And then Walmart, and then we're going to get back into the other trades. So relative equal lows here, similar to Google. Been in a downtrend. Now this one, not as strong of a drop for a market structure shift, but as you see, ran buy side, made new all-time highs, and I've got to clean this chart up. And then goes up here. We leave. Then what do we do? Yeah, I'm not going to count that gap just yet. So then takes out this low, starts heading lower. This one more of a volume imbalance play, so to say. Hits that volume imbalance, heads lower. And so if we drop down and we look at the daily, and this was 1 week. Yeah, put that on right there. Let's get rid of this. But yeah, when we look at Tesla now on the daily, maybe we have another entry. So you see we're up, big drop here. Closing that gap. Get this right here. Did not come back for it. Continues lower, pulls back into this range here. So we have, this would have been a nice place to get in on. Granted, it's coloring outside of the lines, but this is where the higher time frame analysis would have come in, because we've market structure shifted here, comes down, goes up into here, outside, drops, comes back, colors a little bit outside, but no continuation. It didn't take out, right here, didn't take this out to really kind of signal like, hey, we want to get back up here. Turns over, and now weekly volume imbalance, keeps heading lower. Honestly, this chart, it's like the way the daily candlesticks are, is blah. But then continues lower, and now here we are. We've taken, this buy side liquidity here, and then immediately turns over. We then go down. It's like, okay, so take the buy side, drops, get a little bit of return, not to a gap here. Nothing really here on the hourly, drops again. But I want to say, if we look at this Wednesday, the 25th day to the 26th, might be able to find something on, yeah. So ran up, pull this forward. There's our entry. Get in, starts dropping, and that would have been from 412 down to, close to 387 down here. But this would have been a nice trade. Enter, see the drop, slow move downward, gap open, gap down, with the news over the weekend. And now it's, moving back up. But looking at, daily setup. So this is a good pullback. Just to see, it's 15. If we're looking at this, would have these three candles filled in for the gap, and now it pushing back up into this, and as you see, it wicked. So long-winded. This one, 18. Oh, actually, let's fix this. So for this, go down to April. We're still looking at puts. I'm not gonna lie, Tesla is an expensive one, so we'll pull something down here, 325. But fortunately, with it being so expensive, but with how it moves, makes it a little bit more manageable. And we're looking to take this down through these relative equal lows. So getting in around 402 on this pullback, and we're looking for roughly 20-point move. But we'll monitor trade as needed. So that's Tesla. Just rolled those puts out, and then Walmart. Rallied, came back, hit this gap here, rallied out this gap after taking the sell side right here, gets back above this gap, holding the upper half of that gap, and it's trying to push out. Target earnings are tomorrow, so I think this might be waiting for those just because move somewhat in tandem, but calls for that. So now when we shuffle on over here, arm sitting at, so I already spoke about so here's Amazon. I'll move this up here. And we'll finish clean this up. So got out of the Amazon calls. Reason for Amazon, and for some of this, it's just you got to pick a side. So, like I said, weekly, took this sell side here, pulling back up into the weekly. On the daily, we do have these gaps to the upside. And then, if we go down further, take a look under the hood, sideways. Honestly, this one may be, honestly, it's a 50-50. We have gaps filled to the downside, gaps filled to the upside. It kind of needs to pick a direction. This may not be the best one, but, going to watch it and see what it does. But based on overall market sentiment, I'm a little bit bearish in the short term. So I'm looking for some lower prices before we turn around. Boeing, already explained. So FANG. So FANG, we still have upside potential. Go down to daily, gapped up today. This is where the gap is. So this gap here is ever evolving because we have not finished the day yet. Come down to the hourly. It filled the gap on the hourly. Looks like, and we have a hold here on the hourly. And then if we look at the 15, it's looking like it's gap fill, kind of peaking up here. That's a market structure shift right there. Could have gotten a better entry. I entered probably too early on this one. To be honest with you, let's see. Yeah, entered this morning when it was pulling back, but then it started pulling back more. So Google already discussed. So Meta, let's see, what is my confidence with Meta? So let's clean some of this up. So Meta, from a weekly standpoint, ran up here, made the all-time highs, comes up, drops. We then have, small gap up here that you can barely even see it. And then you have the next gap being this one here, but this will just mark this one so that you can see it a little bit there. So that's the weekly. And so what we saw here, market structure shift here, then came back 1, 2, gave us 3 weeks, dumps, and then came all the way down to this gap. Now we're looking at a kind of consolidation, but I don't want to necessarily. It's sideways ish right now, and so then pulls back up. This was an entry right here because it pushed down, pushed up, back into another entry, down, and now, when we go down lower, so we had earnings. Earnings went up into that weekly gap, started coming down, and then when we look at, well, where was a possible entry? So we take that buy side liquidity there. We come down, environment balance here, and then this would have been the gap here. No entry on that. Come in, that one there. This is where our entry, this is day for the entry, especially with it being daily SIBI, and then we could take that down, taking this, and now we're sitting in. You want to, try and take the bullish side of the trade. Now it's sitting here to here and kind of bouncing out of there. So this one, to me, it's stuck. This is a 50-50 because then, if you're bullish, you can argue, okay, well, took the sell side, ran up, comes all the way down to here, rallies. From a bearish standpoint, sitting in, it just came back. It's been using this SIBI here and could still turn over. So this one, not too confident on. I'm just gonna close this one out because there's no clear direction, and I got caught in some choppy waters last month with some trades. So I'd rather not expose myself to that, and then the indecision that all that causes. Microsoft. So Microsoft has gotten absolutely just destroyed. As you can see, when we split this range, we're now in the lower half of it. This honestly might be one of the better setups, but it's all going to depend on what does the market want to do. So we have this here. So this is the prime example. Took sell side over here, market structure shift with this one. It's now coming back to that. If you're a Fibonacci trader, what do you see? Golden level 61.8. We got 70.5 and then 79.1, like all within here. And I'll just extend this to the right. We're within like this window with the weekly gap. So this one could shape up to do nice things. It's all going to depend on what the market is doing. But there are sometimes, tickers that'll go if the whole market's crashing, they can, either hold or they can, somewhat rally. So we're sitting inside this weekly BISI. When we drop down to the daily, we've taken sell side 2 occasions. Now within this, so we have market structure shift here, came down, we then peaked our head above this one. Not the most aggressive. Really what we would have wanted to see is like another one of these candles, and then it had it extended like all the way up here, really kind of show like it means business. That would have been nicer, but now comes back into the gap here. And now this is just where we are. This is just where we're sitting. So that's that one. And so got into a call on this one earlier today. So I'm gonna let that one continue on. So we now have what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Microsoft. When looking at Micron, so Micron, honestly, very, very, very bullish stock. This is one of those where I've been, getting into some moves. Honestly, when it pulls back, you kind of just get in on the pullback because it doesn't stay down for long. So this one, when we're looking at, actually not even all-time highs. And if I pulled that down, say here, you've got sell side down here. Okay, so right now, this one, moving a little sideways right now. So on the weekly, so then, and we have, oh, well, hold on, we have one gap here. Second one right there. As you can see, came down into this one, hit it. Looks like it wicked into the one here, and then bounced out of there. So we'll just add our notes here. Drop down onto the daily. Now it's a lot more murky. So from a weekly standpoint, higher time frame trend, very, very bullish. Right now, probably just a cooling off period. As you can see on daily, drop down here, took the sell side. It hit those the 2 gaps, stayed there for a little bit, rallied out, then it came back in, and now 2022 we're sitting in the upper half. So re-looking at this, I want to say I had put on puts because in anticipation of the news coming into this week, but looking at Micron, this is, in my opinion, better suited for a bullish play. So we'll just, since this is way, way, way expensive, we'll look at these 580s for April. And so with Micron, what I'm really looking for With this one, looking for 436, move to 436, and it looks like actually got these relative equal highs right here. This is really what we want. If we can get through these, then actually I'll make the alerts later. Yeah, want to see it get up through there and see if it can hold, bullish sentiment. Moving on, Nem should just taking this one off. I tried to stick to, I'll let it hit 50%. It hit like 30%, but Nem, I'm probably going to place a stop on it. Well, actually, no. Let's take a look. So yeah, I'll just go. I'm just gonna let this one go to 134.88. Nem is one of those where I got faked out in here. I did not have the strong conviction that I should have had, and part of that was because I did not have an ideal or preferred entry. I was kind of just, oh, it's closing, it's up here. I'm getting up here, then it's pulling back, and that, as I'm learning, it can shake you out of a lot of trades. Definitely not the best mentality, but that's something that I'm looking to correct. And then it made this high, pulled back into Bissy right here, takes it, and now, we were down further today, but now holding that right there. So looking to see this go to 134. So I'll hold on to that one. What's next? NVIDIA. This one, I think, yeah, this is a cut. Now, I think this one, could cut, could reposition. Let's see. So NVIDIA, we're 1, 2, roughly that's close, relative equal lows. We've taken the buy side here, and then kind of, but this is really just consolidating. We could argue we've got the weekly inversion fair value gap that we've now entered, and we can see this, somewhat bearish sentiment further when we look under the hood, go a little further down, up, dropped. Big drop here. And what does it come back to? This SIBI. Now, this is a massive gap. So if we kind of, we look under the hood, let's see what we're really dealing with. So we've gotten up into, let's see, and let's just say we take this from top to bottom. Ideal entry on the hourly is going to be up here. Maybe we get that, maybe we don't. But what I can also see is that we're hitting this gap here. So possible turnaround here, and then let's take a look at the 15. Yeah, so it's kind of just meandering around here. Also getting towards the end of the day, but ideally, I want to say I want to see price stay in the lower half of this gap from the daily. If we needed the absolute best, then we get something up here, and maybe it just goes in here, wicks into it, and then turns over. But barring that, if we just had, let's say, this here, and then it continues lower, a lot of lows right here that are good targets. So I want to say I'll reposition this one and we'll just pick a further out strike. Looking like the 170s. Yeah, and 170 kind of aligns with where I would like it to go. Doesn't mean it has to, but where I would like it to go. And so we'll just roll into that. And honestly, I think I'd like to put this one on in my Roth as well, if I can. Get the 160, looks like. Yeah, actually can. All right, so yeah, throw the 160s in on that one. All right, so back to the business. Oh, Honeywell. That's one that I did not do to align between the two. Yeah, looking at Honeywell. This one, damn, missed entry on this too. All right, so this one we'll just jump into. Entry's been missed, but you know what? This one, well, so I got three. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be both because they have not made the 255s yet. So we'll just take. No, that's gonna be too much. Could do the 270s and have multiple contracts, but you know what? We're just gonna go one contract. Stay within our risk parameters. But that's a mess because yeah, came right back to it too. This would have been a much better entry at 245, already up $2. So let's see, speeding through this. Pepsi, I got out of this on the Roth account. Pepsi kind of moving sideways. Not too sure about this one. I do feel it has a lot of upside potential, but for right now, uh, minimizing my exposure, I'm gonna step out of this one for now because I got stopped out of my uh, Coca-Cola calls as well. I'm gonna step away from this one momentarily, but Pepsi will definitely be revisited for sure. We did Nvidia. Pfizer still holding. Procter & Gamble still holding. QQQ. Guess just with the massive push today, I was looking for some continuation lower, but it looks like we're pulling up into here, and it looks like honestly from a weekly standpoint, if you were going to take this drop here to now would be a better entry from a weekly standpoint than when we look at the daily, which is quite frankly a mess. Drop down, pulls back to it. Yeah, like we had here. And so still like short term puts on QQQ. Better entry here and an even better entry now, even looking at the daily. So this might actually be one. Oops, there we go. Inside of that weekly SIBI, daily SIBI up here, pulled back into this one today after taking this low out here. We'll let's say we'll roll this one and Wait for this to load. Now with this one, don't think I'm gonna go out as far. I think this one I'll play a little bit closer in expirations. And I'll take these 580s for March 27th. So just rolling this one out an extra week. Give us some more time on that. Shop. Well, Target, I can tell you right now, getting rid of this one. Earnings tomorrow, not trading over earnings. So we're just going to grab, I'm going to take our ball and go home on this one. There we go. So we just move this one out of there. Shopify. This was actually one which may be looking potential bounce to be seen. So as you can see, very, very big downtrend. Discretionary is not the strongest sector right now, but we came down here, took this big wick up, and then came back. But overall, looking at structure wise up here, and then let's say maybe you take here, you have to close in that gap, and then includes the volume imbalance. You have this massive weekly gap here. Came up, hit it on earnings, dropped back down, and now we're kind of sitting here at this on this gap here. Then when we look at the daily, we came up there. We took sell side here, and this one honestly really has not material. This one I probably should not have gotten into. So yeah, this is an example of we did not. This one does not meet the criteria for me to be in calls because we've not made the market structure shift. So as you can see, we took the sell side here, made this high, came back, but see, we haven't made a higher high yet. Now, what I'm looking for is it to then want to make a move above here, and then when it pulls back, can go under the hood and look. But for now, yeah, probably could have caught like a small move. Yeah, it looks like I already marked this one up. You got like the 1 hour here on this one. Yeah, like took the sell side and then rallied. Inversion fair value gap on the 1 hour. This 2022, because as you can see on the hourly, we took this buy side here to make this a BISI, but then this is an earlier entry because we have not confirmed that on the daily. We're still making these lower lows. So this one, bit preemptive on my part. I'm just going to shut this down. Although I have time, I'll just take the small loss on this and reduce the exposure because that trade did not meet the criteria and I should not have gotten into it. Tesla, gonna align this to, did I already roll Tesla to April? Yes, I did. All right, so Tesla, going to roll this to April. I already went over this analysis earlier, so grab the 345s, pay $70 for that. QQQ discussed. TSM. So TSM, similar to MU, very, very strong tickers right now. And this one, honestly, it's still pushing higher. Yeah, see, came back here. And if you look, you know, bounce out of this gap, comes down. Didn't exactly take the sell side there, but then rallies up. And this is one where, kind of going under the hood. So, yeah, you can see, hit that. We have one gap here. To even open the day. This, hit that pre-market, came up, and then now, like even looking, and try and grab something on this here. So hit the hourly gap, and then rallied. Perfect opportunity right here with that change. As you can see, we then have here. Pushes up, and now, getting close to the end of the day, and somewhat of a push. Got these relative equal highs here as well. Yeah, I'm liking this more so to the upside. This didn't go through. Lock that in the middle. So TSM, I gotta switch this from put. We'll go out to April and grab the. Oh, I almost did the wrong thing. Go out to April. We'll grab the 430. And so that's really the business. Honestly, if I wanted to, let's say, add something here. Yeah, that's gonna put me right at. And if I wanted to mirror trade on this account, energy is leading the pack right now. I think what I'll do for this one, not to have, because I already have I have one IT with Nvidia. I think I'm going to match the Fang position for this one, and we'll get a little more diversity with this. So come down here. I'll grab the 195s, and let's see if we can get that right in the middle. So that's the business. Now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positions. This one could have a total of 10. And then cleaning up in this account. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So getting closer to that 10 to 15 range. So yeah, that's the business. Yeah, I hope you all were able to, learn something, from, mistakes I've made and kind of how I'm learning to manage my portfolio. Once again, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. I hope, everyone continues to have a good trading year. And, we start off March strong. We finish strong. Look forward to talking to you all again soon. Bye.